Hazard pay is back on in the third stimulus package. But what will it look like? This week we're going to see the third stimulus package bill, and in it we'll see how they delineate, calculate, apply, and escalate hazard pay situations. Under the HEROES Act in 2020, it was $10,000, up to $10,000. If you worked during the pandemic, calculate it as the following. It's $13 an hour times the number of hours you work January 2020 to 60 days after the pandemic ended, and included overtime, part-time, full-time, and casual time hours, and any sort of slacking hours as well. It was very simple. It was very obvious. The essential worker definition was very broad. A lot of people were included in the definition. The only thing bad about the provision was it said the employer may apply but doesn't have to apply. In this Overnight LA video, I explain how you get hazard pay under HEROES Act and how that could set up a path for HEROES Act under the third stimulus package. Enjoy this Overnight LA throwback video on hazard pay. Hazard pay heats up, but who are essential workers under a second stimulus package? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is LA Late. Thank you for joining me for Afternoons LA Late. Every day, starting at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, our 2-hour programming block with 4 videos, a new video every 30 minutes. It starts with a check, goes to hazard pay, then FPUC, and ends with rent assistance. This video is the one that you've been asking for, so let's get right into it. I'm excited, and you should be too. I have in front of me the entire provisions that covers who are essential workers under the hazard pay bill. You've been asking, hey, LA, am I an essential worker? Am I an essential worker? Is this an essential job? And what is at issue is the language of the hazard pay provision of the HEROES Act. As you know, I've been reporting since Friday that a deal on the second stimulus package is imminent. There's been several reports about it. I had another one this morning on Mornings with LA. Thank you for watching that. That was a blockbuster and a lot of fun. And so hazard pay has gotten no opposition vocally from the Republicans, so it appears that it's still on track. Meantime, last Friday, Nancy Pelosi came out in favor of it again, basically backing her own bill, saying, hey, we're fighting for hazard pay, we're not getting rid of it. So I want you to be informed, because ultimately, as I've told you over the last couple of days, you need to have these conversations with your employers if you do think you're an essential worker. And I had one viewer whose name is Jennifer actually reach out to her boss at Carvana and said, hey, here's this kid LLA, let me send you his videos. Are we essential workers? So that's exactly what I want you to start doing. So let's get right to it, and let me go over the details. So essential workers are defined line item, line by line in the HEROES Act bill. These are the following people who clearly are essential workers. So get out your pen and paper and write it down. It starts at provision 5A, 5D, subsection I. So first, number I, anyone who's a first responder work in the public or private sector, including emergency, this includes fire officials, police, emergency medical, protective care, child maltreatment, domestic violence, correctional services, and any activities of law enforcement officers, all essential workers. That's provision I. Repeat, we're at section 5, subsection D, subsection I. So if you pull out a pen and paper, and if you hear your category, just mark it down. It's like, hey, that's us. Honey, we are essential. Mark it down. Number subsection II, healthcare workers providing inpatient services, including hospitals and other impute services like nursing homes, and other works physically performed for inpatient services. So these are inpatient medical facilities. Triple I, healthcare workers providing outpatient services, basically the same thing, just outpatient. This can be physicians' offices, community health centers, rural health clinics, so very broad. And we're not just talking about a hospital, we're talking about other types of items, freestanding emergency departments, ambulatory surgical centers, and anything related to physically performing services on an outpatient basis. So, it could be MRIs, and I got to tell you, I want to explain this because this often will come up. When I talk about a category like that, it's not just the doctor, it's anyone in the office. So, if you're in the billing room next door or in the room next door, or, you're the guy that cleans the bedpans, I mean, you don't have to be the doctor to be covered as a hazard pay essential worker. Just anyone in that facility. I had one viewer once ask me, I'm the security guard in the medical facility, would I be covered? Yes. I mean, it's anyone in that facility. It's not the task, but the facility that qualifies. IV, section I and then V, not IV in your arm. Pharmacy work. Anything performed in a pharmacy, including drugstores or other retail facilities specializing in medical goods and supplies. Now, okay, this one is the easy one, and then the gray area. I'm going to be talking about gray areas, and these are the ones that are not clearly worded right. They're not clearly worded right. So it starts clear with pharmacy. So if you work in a pharmacy, you're covered. Then it says drugstores. Well, that's starting to become gray. And then it says other retail facilities specializing in medical goods and supplies. Okay, what the hell is that, LLA? That's not CVS and not Walgreens, because they don't specialize in medical supplies. They do sell them, but they don't specialize in them. And they're sort of drugstores, but then they're sort of not. That is the gray area. So if you are a CVS, Walgreens, or anything like that, Rite Aid, this is the one that you want to have the conversation with your boss, because it's not clear if you're covered or not. I think you are. Number V, any work performed at a facility that performs medical testing, like a laboratory. I had a lot of these viewers. So I work in a lab. I do, Petri dishes. I do, analyzing this and analyzing that. Yeah, you're covered. VI. Oh, a lot of these viewers as well. Home and community-based work. So if you're a home healthcare worker, yes, you're covered. This includes home healthcare. It actually says home healthcare, residential care, assisted living or daily living. So you work in a nursing home. And any services provided by direct workers, including personal care, job coaches. Oh, job coaches. Interesting. I don't know if that's sort of like the person you would see on Real Housewives, as like the mystic that gives you advice as to what type of hair to dye your color to dye your hair. But job coaches, life coaches, job coaches. I'm not quite clear what that is, or other supportive employments provided, and those individuals in their homes directly with personal care attendants, home health aides. Really, really quite clear on that regard. So if you go to people's homes and provide services, whether it's rehab at their home or you deliver medical supplies to their home, absolutely covered. That's VI. Next, VII, biomedical research. Yes, of course. VIII, behavioral work. This is like physical therapy. It's really physical therapists, yes. IX, nursing care and residential care performed in that facility. I mean, you sort of knew you were essential workers, but I mean, they put it in there. X, family care. Oh, so this one's really great. I mean, this is really great news because I had a lot of viewers about this and you wouldn't know if it's covered or not. Child care services. Yes, covered. It's section X. Family care, including child services, in-home child care services such as nanny services, care services provided by family members to other family members. Boy, I can just see where this is going. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to figure that one out. Remember, you have to have an employer, so I don't know how this works. I mean, a lot of nannies don't have employers. A lot of nannies are just independent contractors. But if you're on that that app, what is it? Cares.com or something like that, where they send out nannies and you do nanny work, yeah, you qualify. I did not catch that on the prior recordings of this video. XI, social workers, like anyone in social care, child care services, community food and housing services, emergency social services. So if you have a food bank or you deliver food to the homeless, yes, I mean, this is really quite interesting because this could expand you into restaurants. So if during the pandemic you provided food to at need donation institutions from your restaurant, I mean, you ultimately could qualify under this for XII, public health work. This is basically if you work for the state or local government or tribal. Remember, tribal is always covered, and it's always in this. So don't exclude tribal. It's always included. And so anything in there is covered. XII, tribal vital services, including the commissioner of the administration of Native Americans, consultation with the tribal governments, all covered. Okay, here we go. Here are my grocery people. So listen up. Get that pen ready. You're like, oh, okay, I fell asleep, Ellie. I'm waking up now. XIV, grocery. This is you. Get ready. And I'm going to go really slow on this one. Grocery work performed physically at the grocery store, supermarkets, convenience stores, corner stores, drug stores, retail facilities specialized in medical goods and supplies and bodegas, and other locations where individuals purchase non-prepared food items. Oh boy, that's the Hot Mess Express right there. It starts really clear. I mean, it's clearly supermarkets. So anyone who works in the supermarket, I don't care what you do in the supermarket, Matt, you are covered. Everyone in the supermarket's covered. Now, what does not cover is people who are delivering things to the supermarket. And I think that's another provision coming up. It does not cover that because it says physically performed in the supermarket. Now, all this other stuff, if you are the local corner store that sells non-prepared food, I gotta tell you, it sounds like the liquor store that Sam owns on the corner that you go get your vodka from that happens to have a few cans of potato chips in there might be covered. I mean, I don't know if that's what Congress intended to, but that's the way the language reads. So, Sam, congratulations. But you have to have the employer to apply. XV. Okay, here are my restaurant people. Restaurant, you come right after grocery. XV is restaurant, so I'm going to go slow on this one as well. Restaurant work, including carry out, drive-through, food delivery work. Okay, Postmates, Grubhub, Uber Eats, all that type of stuff. Requiring physical interaction with food or individuals. Okay, so basically everyone in the restaurant. Everyone that delivers the food to the restaurant. Now, again, it does not seem to appear covers people shipping, produce to the restaurant. It doesn't cover them in this one, but it covers every single person in the restaurant and everyone that delivers the restaurant food to someone else. So if you're a Grubhub or Uber Eats driver, you're covered. Now, ultimately, you're going to say, LLA, what do? I'm not paid by the hour, and who is my employer? Well, it's Grubhub under a W-2 or Uber Eats, but are they going to apply for you? Boy, this could be a national, I could see just protests across the country if the bill is passed and you just don't have these major corporations not applying for all these millions and millions and millions of employees. Food preparation, XVI. So this is the big one. These are my food preparers, including physical interaction with food processing, including agricultural work. Okay, so this is Kevin Lee. Farming, fishing, forestry, ranching, processing, canning, slaughtering. Oh, I have a lot of these people in Texas. Packaging, baking. Oh, I have bakers as well. Butchering. That's not butchering a bell. It means butchering meat, not butchering a bell. And other food production work, such as activities provided with section of the fair or labor haps. Oh, including handling, planting, drying, packaging, packing or packaging. How is packaging different than packing? Processing, freezing, or grading food for delivery, agricultural. So you're all covered. I gotta say this. Pot is not covered. That is not agricultural for purposes of this, and I do get the EIDL. They're talking about food on this one. So yeah, have a smoke, but you're not covered on this one. Transportation, XVI. Okay, so this is all my drivers, my truck drivers, my Uber drivers. Transportation work has, oh boy, it has a page of subsections. So this is all XVI. So all these transportations are covered. Transportation, public transport, the bus. Private transport, such as bus, rail, taxi cab, personal car, motorized, everyone, Uber, Lyft, everyone, all of you. Um, Ironically, it doesn't have those stupid scooters. So, if you own a scooter company, I guess you're not covered. It's just such a shame. I can't stand those scooters. Any private transport of bulk, including transportation of high rate or rail or otherwise. Yes, I did that video yesterday where I talked about working capital for EIDL if you had a truck and that they could come and take your truck. And I'm like, I don't know how much an 18-wheeler costs. I had like 55 comments in LA, this is how much an 18-wheeler costs. So yeah, and if you own an 18-wheeler, you're driving it during the pandemic, you're covered. Private transportation, rail transportation, Amtrak, you work with it. I think you sort of knew that you were covered. Aircraft, anyone in aerospace, and I detailed that as well yesterday, all my aerospace people, absolutely covered. Now, this one's interesting. Any repairs on the aircraft, absolutely covered as well. Maritime, which is boats, and I have my boaters. I have my people who work in maritime. They are covered if you do transportation work for maritime. Also, if you're a longshoreman, a harbor worker, or shipbuilder, you're covered. I don't know if I have any shipbuilders. If you do, shout out. I'd love to chat with you. Shipbuilders covered. Ship repairers who are working for an employer doing the shipbuilding or ship repair work under contract of Department of Homeland Security or something like that. Interesting. Do I have any of those viewers? I'd love to talk to you as well. Maritime transportation, barge workers, maritime dispatchers, repair and maintenance of maritime vessels, work in a facility. Okay, so now here are another category. So we're out of transportation. These are the ones that I want you to really pay attention to because a lot of my viewers I know are these categories coming up. First, warehouse. This is XVII. Work performed in a warehouse or other facility warehouse, including storage, distribution, or call center support. So you can simply be on the phones, you're covered. Anything that concerns goods transportation, all covered. Cleaning work. This is XIX. I gotta tell you, this one was the one that got a lot of questions the first time I did this video, and I'm sure it's gonna do it again. Cleaning work, including building maintenance work, physically performed on the facility of the facility, including custodial or janitorial services, security services, repairs and maintenance services. I did not see the word security services the first time I did this video. So yes, my security guards, you are covered. That's XIX. Now, the question I got the first time around was, hey, I'm a plumber, electrician. I repair some buildings. Gray area, I don't know. Then I had some people say, I did some home flipping. No, not covered. I did some home remodels. No, not covered. I did some repairs and built an extension on a commercial building. No, not covered. XXI, gathering, processing, dissemination of news to the public interest for the public transportation of news. These are my news reporters. The guy in the blue shirt. Before that, I skipped XX, work in the collection or removal, transportation, or disposal of residential, commercial, or solid waste or recycling. So these are my recyclers. I don't know if I have recyclers watching this video. If you do, shout me out. Okay, my teachers, get ready. XXIII, educational work, school nutrition, any work for a school facility, including early childhood, preschool, elementary, secondary education, higher education. So every single person who works for child education is covered. It doesn't matter if you're preschool, nursery, all absolutely covered. It's a lot of viewers. Boy, I skipped one again. XXII, any work performed for a government entity or tribal organization. XXIV, laundry works, including laundromats, laundry services, dry cleaners. Okay, so here are some strange ones to wrap them up with. Election work, hazardous material, disinfectant work, critical care facilities. I I actually got this a couple times. XXII, working in a mortuary or funeral home or cremation or burial, cemetery or related service. Yes, you are essential. Absolutely. Thank you for your work in burying the dead during the pandemic. XXXX, can you bury that Republican bill with you as well? XXXX, requiring physical interactions with patients and physical therapy. I mean, that's almost overlapping the earlier one. This is the one I laughed about the first time I saw it. After the mortuary are dentists. I don't know why dentists got after mortuary. And dentists actually have their own line item. Apparently the dentist union, lobbied and got a whole line item. So XXXI, dental work. Everyone in the dentist office, employees of the post office, your XXXII. Everyone in the post office. I got a lot of questions about that. Absolutely covered. And this one's a big one. XXXIII, everyone in a hotel or motel. Wow. But if it's used for COVID-19 mitigation and containment measures, so if you were one of those places that gave places for people to live during the pandemic, yes. If you're just a hotel that charges $900 a month, an hour, and has that bad bacon at 7 o'clock in the morning, then shame on you for not helping people. You're not getting hazard pay. Coming up after this one video is a FPUC with a big development, and after that is rent assistance. Join me every afternoon for afternoons LA Late, starting at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, and then after that, LA Late evenings at 6:45 Pacific Standard Time. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay positive, and save LA for more.